Welcome back to our weekly walkthrough where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. So this is the astrology and cartomancy for the week of August 11th through the 17th. So at a glance, most of the action is actually tomorrow on Monday, the 11th. It's a pretty low-key and mostly lunar week. With that, we do open with a void of course moon, not counting the Pisces moon, which is still in mutual reception with Cancer Jupiter, which we love. Allows the moon and Jupiter to kind of balance things out and create more flow and alchemy. Like every time we get the Pisces and Sagittarius moons during Jupiter and Cancer, they are these kind of uplifting points that buoy us a little bit between those Jupiterian areas of the chart. And at 12:54 a.m., like right before the moon goes void, we have a trine between the moon and Jupiter that's really lovely. So if you're more nocturnal or if you live elsewhere, like overseas, from me in the US, then you actually have a nice window there to do something just really lovely Monday morning. And then at 1:29 a.m., Mercury stations, direct. We have escaped the retrograde. We still have the post shadow to go through, but we're out of the rougher portion. Then the moon will conjunct the node at 18 degrees of Pisces at 8:52 a.m. And on Monday, we also have a Saturn in Aries, Uranus Gemini little checkpoint that may help you break through some of the stagnancy, some of the stuckness and the confusion since our fallen Saturn went retrograde. And that's at 9:31 p.m. And then at 11:30 p.m., we get what is one of just the nicest aspects, which is the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, ruled by the Pisces moon. And it's just so sweet and indulgent. So seriously, check out the Cancer area of your chart and think about what you're longing for. Where is the safety, the comfort, and the nourishment that you're really craving right now? And, if you're into any seed planting rituals, vision boarding, collage, anything like that, it's a good time for it. Now, on Monday, we do have death, and specifically the sporification edition with our lovely little mushroom. And this death to me speaks about death as life, the fungal breakdown of things that are no longer serving and the way they spread and the way they network. It's the mycelial death. It's like, what is this death carrying you towards? Where are the spores going? What can you create as you're breaking down old structures to make something new? And we also have the back of milk, which is often about the part of ourself that's missing. Like, who are we missing in this equation as we're trying to build things, we're trying to look for things, as we're longing for things? Which part of ourself is being left out? And usually these are child parts because, back of the milk carton. But really, where is the absence? Where is the missing piece? What is calling us to give it a little bit more love? And, it could be an old thing. Milk also spoils. Like, both of these have some fetid energy. So on a very practical level too, just with some of these transits, clean out your fridge. I know, like, sometimes we get really, really mundane with this, but like, clean out your fridge. Look for what is rotten so that you can make space for what isn't and what is more nourishing. Then Tuesday, we have the moon bump over into Aries at 4:32 a.m. And then really we get conjunction with Saturn and Neptune, holds hands with Uranus and Pluto, opposes Mars, which there's some reception there, but still a little crunchy, and it's on Mars Day too. And then trines Mercury, and all of that is before noon Mountain Time. So it's a busy morning. It's hectic. Good morning for a workout. Good morning to let some of that energy out. But there also may be some conflict, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good day to try and set records with that Moon-Mars opposition. Could be injury territory, so just be careful with that. And then the other thing, particularly with the Moon Mercury trine, we have secret reversed. And with this being the second day after Mercury is moving direct, it does make me wonder if there won't be some revelations about some stuff that went underground, particularly because one of the shadow sides of Libra Mars can be gossip. And so with that opposition, like this could be some gossip coming to light and starting fights. So also watch your mouth. Loose lips sink ships and all of that. Wednesday the 13th, we're still dealing with the Aries moon, square Jupiter and Venus in Cancer, trine the sun, and then void, of course, in the evening around 5 p.m. And with that on Wednesday, we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. So this can just make collaboration a little bit more difficult, especially after what happens Tuesday. So this week, I want you to just really let yourself settle into that slow Mercury energy. Because post-station, we're not moving very quickly. We're still not thinking very fast. We're trying to finish and reflect on what happened and let that slowness be okay. Don't try and force things, and consider doing some inner collaboration, maybe with those parts you discovered on Monday, instead of trying to force things with other people. Thursday, we get a conjunction with Chiron at the end of Aries at 27 degrees. And then at 7:21 a.m., the moon moves over into exaltation in Taurus, which again is just really nice for Jupiter and for all of us in general. Does start with a square to Pluto in Aquarius, which is just kind of our vibe now, and then squares Mercury at 5 degrees of Leo. And then we get a Mars-Mercury sextile at 8:04 p.m. on Thursday. And it feels like Thursday we're starting to get our footing again. We're starting to move forward. We're still dealing with a little bit of friction, but mostly we're like, okay, this is what I want to do about this. This is why I thought that, or they did that, and now we can act on it. But having a dignified moon on Jupiter day with our exalted Jupiter is just a nice combination. For my magical practitioners, you know, if you've been waiting on some stuff, could be a good day to do that. But we do have the Two of Wands reversed, which cautions that we need to be ready to pivot and adapt. Particularly Mars and Mercury coming into play there, and some of those squares. Things may not go exactly as planned, but that doesn't mean they have to go poorly. Just be ready to review and revise. And these could also be older plans from the retrograde that now you're like, oh, actually I have to change all of that. So just, you know, have your notebook, have your drawing board ready and be like, okay, let's problem solve. Friday, we hit our half moon, which the time just moves very fast. Because it's like, we just had the full moon. Where are we? And with that, Jupiter sextiles, the moon sextiles Jupiter in the morning, and then Venus, and then the North Node, and then Venus trines the North Node, and then we get, of course, on our half moon, the moon square the sun. And so Friday feels fun. Friday feels easy. Friday feels like a good day that we could all use, but we have smoking death reversed. And this is my more casual death. This is like the monotony of death. This is what it means to just one foot in front of the other. Okay, we're doing this again. We're moving this way again. We got to figure this out again. And it's just a reminder to not drop the ball on those regular daily transformation acts that are pulling you towards what you really want. Like, just because it's a fun day doesn't mean you should abandon your practices. So Saturday, moon moves into Gemini, pace quickens, talks to all of the outer planets, and then also Mercury and Mars later in the night. So Saturday is just fast. Saturday is very fast energy. And we get our Three of Wands, which is Saturday might be when you finally start being able to put things out again, where stuff starts moving, where you feel like, okay, this is what we actually need. And then Sunday is pretty simple. Moon squares the North Node and Mercury sextiles Mars again, which is funny that we had both of those this week. We had Mars sextiling Mercury and now Mercury sextiling Mars. Not super common, kind of an interesting vibe for the whole week. But with the Tower reversed, like, take care of your tech, go slow, and be sure about what you are letting go and breaking down. All right, happy week. Let me know what you think.